Israel, the Jews, may have missed him, for the most part, coming the first time. But most of the Christian world has missed his second coming because they have replaced it with a Hallmark Channel Jesus and a Hallmark heaven. And people going to heaven sitting on clouds and strumming harps and growing wings, all these things that are complete fairy tales that were invented out of paganism to comfort people that are dead. But we don't comfort ourselves with lies, with fairy tales. We comfort ourselves with the very things that Paul was given revelation to comfort us. We forget every time we read the Gospels, we go through, we see Jesus Christ and Jesus Christ. This is all nearly a generation after the event in which Peter was allowed to speak that he was a Messiah. This does not even enter into the picture of Yeshua's ministry. No one called him Jesus Christ. Christ is not his last name. Is not the son of Mary and Joseph Christ. And so when we read the Gospels, if we hearken back to the time and the place, we put in Yeshua. We understand he's Messiah, and there are references to him being the Messiah. Born of Mary, Yeshua, who is also the Messiah. Well, that couldn't be declared at the time, but now we can declare it. And the book of the Revelation is the revealing of Yeshua, the Messiah. Not as just the prophet whom we are required to hear and obey, because right now, in this generation, and where we are in time, this is where we are supposed to be. We are supposed to hear and obey him. As Yeshua declared, go into the whole world and make disciples and teach them what I taught you. This is not being done. We are told little Jesus stories, little Bible stories, but we're not teaching what Yeshua taught. We are not understanding that he did not come to destroy the Torah and the prophets. He came to fulfill these things. And all of the prophecies about the Messiah coming and reigning and ruling upon the earth, those things will be fulfilled. But so many times, I hear Christians who want to blame the Jews for missing him coming the first time, but those prophecies are rather obscure. But the prophecies concerning the day of vengeance of our God, those prophecies that when Yeshua read the scroll of Isaiah to preach the acceptable year of the Lord, and he closed the scroll because the next line he could not read. To preach the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our God. And for the next 6 chapters speaks of the Messiah coming with his garments bloodied, who is coming to rule and reign upon the earth. That is the revealing of Yeshua Messiah. And that is the book of the Revelation that we are going to get into. It is sometimes a bitter scroll. It is also a very sweet scroll, because we realize that the price that we now pay for following him will be rewarded with responsibilities as priests and kings to rule and reign with him for 1,000 years. Israel, the Jews, may have missed him, for the most part, coming the first time. But most of the Christian world has missed his second coming, because they have replaced it with a Hallmark Channel Jesus and a Hallmark heaven. And people going to heaven sitting on clouds and strumming harps and growing wings, all these things that are complete fairy tales that were invented out of paganism to comfort people that are dead. But we don't comfort ourselves with lies, with fairy tales. We comfort ourselves with the very things that Paul was given revelation to comfort us. because we do not sorrow as others sorrow. We do not sorrow as others who have no hope, because if we believe that God raised Yeshua from the dead, we know that there is a resurrection. And just as Yeshua promised, there will be a resurrection. And in that resurrection, there will be a reward for the righteous. And there is going to be more than one resurrection. There is going to be a resurrection of the unjust. And there is going to be punishment. But we're not going to focus on that, because our invitation is, as it is in the end of the book of the Revelation, and the Spirit and the bride say, come, come, join in the story. This is the greatest story that's never told. This is the reality. This is Yeshua laying out the fulfillment of all of the prophecies in the Torah and the prophets and the writings, all of the things concerning him that will and must be fulfilled. Yeshua lays it out so his servants do not need to be deceived, and his servants can have comfort in knowing that there is a resurrection, and all that we do in this life, the price that we pay to serve him, will be rewarded for 1,000 years, and then will be rewarded for all of eternity in a new heaven and new earth. Shalom, Torah fans. Give this video a thumbs up and share it with a friend. Tap the subscription button and the bell icon, and I promise to update weekly with in-depth biblical research. Be sure to download the new michaelrood.tv app for both mobile and home devices for even more commercial-free content.